Greetings and welcome, or welcome back as the case may be. Today is going to be Thursday's post, so it should be Thursday. And on that note, we're going to talk a little bit about, my personal preferences and everything. And in this case, it's still going to be about writing. I'm going to start a whole series where I talk about some of my influences on my writing. And we're going to start with those of the older, those still 20th century books that have had an impact on my thinking and my writing. And to be honest, most of this will come from the 70s and 80s, but they exemplify some of the older ways of writing, that longer, drawn-out storytelling, that the pacing was a lot slower, the themes were a lot broader, the characters were more the focus, so we took time to develop them, and plot just kind of eased along. And I think, honestly, still think that's the way a book should be, that I should open it up and I should be drawn into that world. Not to say more modern books don't do that, but I do think the older books do this a little better. Call me an old fuddy-duddy, but there we go. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about the likes of Dune by Frank Herbert. I'm talking about the Foundation novels, especially the first the first three by Isaac Asimov. I'm talking The Gods Themselves by Isaac Asimov. So who else? I'm talking 2001: A Space Odyssey by Clark. I forget his first name now. Wow. I'm talking about Madeleine L'Engle's Wrinkle in Time. That was the first book. I remember in elementary school checking it out from the library and reading it. And it's what ignited my love of reading. So it's what made me grab my attention and made me say, these are cool. It's cool to read. These stories are great. So that's the type of thing I'm talking about. And I'll go even back further into the depths of classical science fiction, and I'm not going to go back so far as Frankenstein or Dracula, although they bear mentioning, but that goes a little further back than what I'm interested in with this topic for today's post. So I'm talking Philip Jose Farmer, Ben Bova, and the classics, the greats of the 50s and 40s, when the genre really took off, when it really captured the imagination, usually of young boys, and really started the snowball going for speculative fiction, particularly science fiction and fantasy. So, we you know what? We're going to go ahead and mention them. Ursula K. Le Guin and Ray Bradbury. Harlan Ellison. We can't forget these guys. So these are the people who got it rolling. And how can they not influence you? Tolkien. How could I forget him? Without them as the foundation, nothing would be there. They're the bedrock of this genre. Or of these genres, depending on how you want to look at it. So they really need to be discussed, and in fact, I will discuss them in more detail individually or in small groups in the coming weeks. But I wanted to get the ball rolling. These are the foundations. These are the books and the authors that really got me hooked reading and writing science fiction. So I want to know, who were yours? Who got you going? Who did you pick up, read, and go, this is great? And it got you going. Anyway, we're going to call it a halt there. If you like this, give us that like, give us a subscribe. We'll be talking more about these topics in the coming weeks. Until then, have a good day. Bye.